Hi traders, Namaskar. Three consecutive negative days for the benchmark Nifty now. The index on a day-on-day basis have clearly made a sequence of lower highs and lower lows. But that's not the case with the Bank Nifty. The Bank Nifty, on the other hand, is showing good strength. Yesterday inside bar, and today was a higher high, higher low on a day-to-day basis. Disappointing towards the close as it slipped yet again. This is the third day that the index has slipped from its intraday highs, but still holding on pretty well, closing marginally positive by 75 points to manage a close at 34,300. Well, clearly the Nifty charts are relatively weaker than the Bank Nifty. We saw that, but let's take a closer look at the Bank Nifty. And if we go down to the 75-minute time frame, you will recall the resistance range as well as the support range, and that's exactly where the index is dealing. We spoke about 16,000, 16,100 zone, and in today's trade, for a very short span of time, the index did slip below 16K, making an intraday low at 15,982, but manages to bounce back close to that 16K level. So the Nifty is at supports, and I've been talking about the fact that we had a good bounce back. And this correction should be looked as a sign of a consolidation post the bounce back. And now the sad part is this consolidation / correction is extending, dragging itself further down. And this is not a very healthy correction, because in terms of the size of the down move, it's quite a bit, and it is now leading to a short-term trend reversal. I use the 75-minute time frame to consider as the short-term, daily as the intermediate, and weekly charts for my long-term. So clearly 16K stays as the important support that the index needs to break and close below, which will clearly confirm that we are again back to a downtrend. We were anyways stuck in a range, and volatility will always be there unless 16,200 is taken out. Now that's quite a bit of a move, 200 points move for the Nifty. It needs a good bit of participation from the large caps, from the index heavyweights. But there's good news. There's good news from the banking pack, from the Bank Nifty. But before we go there, 16K I will square in as the important support, short-term support for the index. If it closes below that, I think the hopes of a retest of 16,400 we probably have to give away with that for some bit of time. On the other hand, if we get some kind of a surprise movement from a very short-term intraday point of view, 16,100 is the first level, and then of course the 16,200. So 100 by 100 points for the Nifty to show us some bounce back, or else we are back to a short-term downtrend. The larger time frames, the daily charts anyways is in a downtrend and continues to be so, and it's facing some resistance at that 16,300, 16,400 zone. But it's the Bank Nifty which is more interesting, because let's start from the 75-minute time frame, because it did move into an uptrend, and it has managed to hold on to itself. Remember this range that we had drawn, and it has stayed within that range. And ask me, the degree of intraday choppiness, volatility, was quite extreme. Yesterday was a little bit more than what I experienced in today's trade, but the choppiness is very much a reality, and we need to deal with it. If you take a look at this particular 75-minute chart, you might start to recognize some kind of a symmetrical triangular pattern after a bounce back. So they should act as a continuation maybe we can get a breakout from this level, maybe not. But one good thing is it has held on to its short-term uptrend. One bad thing is for 3 days from its intraday highs, it has slipped and slipped again to post a relatively much disappointing, weaker close than its opening and in relation to its intraday highs. So levels, I have created an Excel sheet which will make our lives easier, and I will focus this Excel sheet primarily for the Bank Nifty only. Why not Nifty? Because it will take up a little bit of more time to create these videos. I would like to restrict myself within 10 to 12 minutes, number one. And number two, I trade only the Bank Nifty, so it makes more sense to talk and to share levels on the Bank Nifty. So 24th, 25th. Now I have, if you just spend a couple of seconds here, I have created two time frames. This is the short-term time frame, 75-minute time frame. If you take a trade based on the 75-minute time frame, you're either doing an intraday trade or a trade which may last for a day to max 3 days. On the other hand, I have also considered the daily time frame here. This is from a positional point of view. I also do track and trade the 15-minute time frame for intraday trades. I'm not bringing that under consideration for any kind of end of day market review. 15-minute charts wouldn't make sense. So 75-minute time frame, I have the attributes of trend, volatility, what kind of a strategy that we can adopt, support and resistance. So if we take a look at the trend, 75-minute time frame trend is up positive, but it's kind of gone flattish. But the bias is towards the upside. As long as these moving averages are not broken on the downside, as long as the moving averages do not crisscross each other and slope down, we would consider to be a flattish trend with a long bias. Volatility has been high on the higher side. Now what you should look to trade is pullback trades or breakout longs. Pullback means something like this. When the trend gets established, a pullback, you can look into buying these kind of falls. On the other hand, breakout, now from a short-term perspective, intraday per se, this bar is high and this range, essentially the breakout of the symmetrical triangle. This level is around 34516, so 34,500 and 34,700. These are the two levels to keep in mind, 500, 700 for any kind of breakout on the upside. Short trades would require a breakdown, and that would mean 34,200. I'm not keen on that because I would like to stick to the underlying trend. Support 34,000, 34,100 stays as the short-term support for this index, and resistance at 34,800. From the daily time frame, if we take a look at the daily time frame, the higher time frame, trend is clearly still very much on the downside, and this is more of a short-term bounce back, and so the trend is down. Volatility has slowed down a little bit. That's good news. Pullback short strategy should be that you should be looking to short the markets when it pulls back, and this is the pullback. As of now, we have not seen the market breaking previous day's low. If you zoom in and take a closer look, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, inside bar, which means lower high, higher low, and today higher high, higher low. So since this particular day, the index has not broken its previous day's low yet. So 34 round figure is the breakdown. A break below today's low, which is close to 34,280, let's say 34,250, and then 34 should act as the triggers for any kind of further weakness for the index. So support for this index on the daily time frame comes close to these lows, which is 33,000, 33,200, and the upside 34,800, which lies here. You'll notice something, that 34,800 has created a pretty important level for itself. And so any kind of bullishness, optimism can only come once the index takes this level out and somewhere sustains itself above that. then we can expect the market to gain further grounds. Let's take a look at the Bank Nifty open interest behavior. So the index stayed most of the time after the early bounce back, stayed down for most of the day's trade. And the active strikes of 34,500 call throughout the day did see call writing. Put writing was there towards the afternoon, but then it actually saw a bit of unwinding. Now, what you would like to notice is as the index slipped below 34,500 towards the late afternoon, if you take a look at 34,000 put and 33,000 put, especially 34,000 put, I'm going to uncheck the call now. So of these three puts, you would clearly see that towards the late hour, there was a huge amount of put writing on the 34,000 put, right? That's one. What does this mean? We'll talk about this. Let's take a look at the calls. If we take a look at the three active calls, 34,500, 35, and then 36, then you will see that, which one is this? The orange one, which is 35,000. The 35,000 call had seen some huge call writing. Throughout the day, it was writing for the calls because the index after the early gains did stay down for most of the day's trade. So call writing is not much of a surprise here, but what is important is this: the 34,000 put writers, huge put writing towards the end. Build up wise, open interest build up wise, if you take a look at it, there's a put unwinding, clear signs of put unwinding and call build up. Moving on to this is Nifty and this is the Bank Nifty. You will see similar kind of the put change is much lesser compared to call change. Nifty is far more weaker, and that's why we could see a negative number for the put unwindings. Now in terms of levels, if you take a look at Bank Nifty, your 34,000 essentially is the breakout, the 2-bar breakout level that we just discussed some time back. This is a very important number. And if those 34,000 put writers have anything in mind in terms of the direction of the market, then use today's high, 34,600, nearby 34,600 as a trigger. I would reiterate that on Monday evening, I did share that this is a decoy bar and within the next 2 days, the index needs to take out this high for any kind of strength. It has not done that. It has neither broken below the low, which clearly now tells me that Monday's low and Monday's high is very likely to act as the short-term decider for the immediate trend of the market. Tomorrow, expiry, it's going to be really interesting. I will be keeping a very close eye on that 34,000 put, and we will see how the market opens, how it plays out. 3 consecutive days, the index gives back its early gains. Will it do the same and break below 34K, or are we going to see a surprise rally above 34,600? Do let me know your thoughts, and let's see what's in store for us for the expiry tomorrow afternoon. Thank you for supporting my work. Take care of yourselves, trade well and trade wise.